Alright, hello. Hey, Commentary 101, how you doing? Nice to see you again. You're definitely the best supporter of the live streams, so I appreciate it. Alright, so yeah, for anyone else who's going to be watching the replay after, this is going to be another stream where I'm just doing some various projects around the factory and that I've been putting off for a while. And then I may do another stream later this evening, probably more towards the nighttime hours, where I start working on the next room. And I've been doing a little bit of research around to get some inspiration for what to build. I'm still leaning towards doing the engine room as the final room for the Chocolate River. But if not that, I have a few backup options that I might go to as well. So yeah, what I want to do, starting off at least, is I actually want to do something with these shipping docks that are on both sides of the entrance here. Right now they're just hollow, nothing inside of them. And what I want to start doing, I think, is putting some interior inside of them. Just so that means, just so that, you know, the rest of the actual exterior here is all done, because now I have the gates finished. Yeah, those light blocks definitely have been coming in handy ever since you told me about those. I recently, yesterday, put them in the chocolate room and then the nut room as well. It really helped a lot. Those are pretty much the last areas that I needed to do that for. But yeah, so like as you can see here, these are just hollow rooms, and they're very narrow, which actually makes it a little bit difficult to, you know, really think about what I can do, because I mean, this is the outside wall right here. So what I can't really do what they did in the show in the movie, where they basically pretended that this wall isn't here and it extends out much further that way, and then the chocolate boxes come on long conveyor belts. They get loaded into the trucks wherever I have this, you know, well, that's a bad spot, where I have this black concrete wall that's hiding the outside. So what I think I'm gonna do, I could really do one of two things. I could either have that same style where I have the conveyor belts coming this way and they'll just be very short, or what I can do is I can have, well, once again, that's a bad spot to show. I can have it pretending like the chocolate is coming down this conveyor belt, which is actually represented in the movie. You can see it very briefly. And then have a conveyor belt come on the inside here that branches off into little conveyor belts that go out to the trucks. So I think that's what I'm going to do. The only thing that I first want to do is I actually want to find the exact spot that this comes inside here. And then I want to continue that spot on in here and bring it down. So what I'm probably going to do is, I don't need that anymore. Yeah. I'm basically, for right now, just treating this as like a, kind of like a opening that the chocolate goes through, that you can just kind of walk through, like with flaps. I don't really know how to describe it. What I'll end up doing is replacing that with banners, so it looks more like an actual flap and not just a black hole. So now what I'm going to do is I need to get this down in here, and the way that I do all of the conveyor belts that I've done is I use grindstones, and then I get usually it's gray carpet wool on top, and I do something like this, and then I decorate the sides of it. But I like how that looks. I really think it looks like a little, kind of like a little pulley with like a spinning wheel. So I really like how that looks. And then for this, I'll just make it 2 blocks wide. But the thing that is with vanilla Minecraft is you can't really stack them like this, because then it looks really weird with the carpet on top, like that. So that's why in some areas where I have rooms that have conveyor belts, I use pipes instead. And I'm thinking that I might do a similar thing here. I'll see how I like it though. I really haven't put any planning into this. I'm just kind of going to be thinking through it as I build this here. So if it doesn't turn out well, then oh well. I'll think of something else. Another thing I have to keep in mind is that because this is the surface level of the dock, and I have the same thing back here, just the walls are not black, I'm going to put an entrance to this area somewhere over here. So I need to be mindful that, in fact, I'm going to give myself a reminder that this is the floor level. So I really don't have that far to go. And in fact, I'm starting to think, because what I'm worried if I build this pipe here, because it has to be a lot larger than a normal pipe that I would build. So let me extend this floor out a little bit more. I'm worried it's going to look too blocky. This actually is going to be like a stop with the elevator, so I'm going to add that in somewhere. And this will be called the shipping and boating room. And I'm just working on it now because it just works out that the exterior building is already built for it. So that makes doing all the work a lot easier, because like the most time consuming part, maybe not the most time consuming, but one of the most consuming parts of building these rooms is getting the actual room itself built, and the decorating usually doesn't take as long. So that was already basically done for me, so I was like, yeah, I'll hop on this afternoon and just do these real quick, because half of it's already done basically. Okay, so, and then like for example, I would want to have the conveyor belts here. There would have to be something that's a big enough opening that they fall down. What I'm probably going to end up using is, like I do with most of the other conveyor belts, is I use shulker boxes to represent like an actual cardboard box. I'll probably just end up using the brown, and then I'll probably put a sign on them that, you know, says like Nutty Crunch Surprise, or actually in the movie they just have the labels for each country that the boxes are going off to, so I'll probably do that. But I'm not really in love with how that looks. Another thing I'm thinking about is I could just say screw it and pretend that the boxes enter the room on ground level already, sort of like how they do in the movie. Because I guess I really don't need to have this pathway continue. I mean, I could just kind of fudge it around a little bit, you know. In fact, I'm going to try that now and see if I like how that looks more, and I'm pretty sure that I will. I think it'll look cleaner. And then the next part I want to do is I want to mark the center of each one of these. Why does that look... Oh, right. I forgot that these were stone walls, and I was like, why are there so many lines? Okay, I don't remember if I made these center or not. Or, we'll do it here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I did not. So that's actually good. Usually I always hate when it's an even spacing. But for this instance, it's good because I was already making the conveyors 2 blocks wide. So... I will also be doing this to that storage dock over there. Or not storage, shipping dock. I did that in the wrong spot. And what I'll... because this is such a simple thing to make, I'll probably just end up maybe actually freehand building another one. If I end up making this rather complex in here, which I really don't think I will, because... 1, in the movie it's pretty simple, and 2, there's such a small space in here I can't really do anything too interesting. I might just copy and paste it. World edit really is like the greatest thing. like don't even want to think about how many more hours I would have to put into this map if I did not have world edit. What are these? Deep sleep bricks. What? Did I forget to do that? Okay. So now I can get rid of those. I just did that on the outside because it obviously is a lot easier to see. Yeah, the spacing. So I believe there's what? There's 6 of these? 1, 2, 3. Actually, didn't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I'll make the floor look cooler, but I usually do that after the fact. I build these conveyors first, and then I go back and do the rest of the room, because it kind of... What else I can do with this space is fully dependent on where the conveyor ends up. And this is one of the things that I would probably... Like, if I ever do get the create mod on this map, like I was talking about last time I mentioned it, I don't remember when, but I do want to eventually implement the create mod onto this factory. Although I would probably only do that for my own personal use. I probably would not, like, put that in before I put the world download out. So, like, if people want to add it in themselves, they can, but... I'm going to get the factory built, release the map, and then in my own time, just for me, come through and, you know, do a bunch of contraptions with the create mod, because, I mean, one of the coolest things about the mod, obviously, is that you can make chocolate bars and different types of candy. Like, I mean, that mod is basically made for a build like this. The only thing, though, that I'm not a huge fan of the create mod is I don't really like the aesthetic that it uses, because it's more of a steampunk aesthetic, which is, like, the exact opposite of the style of this build. But the conveyor belts do look pretty nice. Like, they basically just look like this, but more detailed, because it's a, you know, obviously it's a custom texture. So this would be like a really awesome thing to go back one day with the create mod and like replace with an actual working conveyor belt and actually have things get sent along on it. I would probably do something where it just kind of drops off at the end and then like continuously has boxes coming down and then recycling them. I think it would be really hard to actually, you know, send them into like trucks, for example, because then the trucks would get filled up. And I don't really know a whole lot about the create mod, but I do know enough to know that it's very versatile, but it can also be very finicky, and it can be kind of hard to work with, especially in a space as small as this. It might be a little difficult, but it's something that I definitely want to give a try. And like I just like the possibilities are almost endless. Like of all the rooms that I have that are actually pertaining to building or actually pertaining to the making of candy, which admittedly in this factory is like only half the rooms, but that's kind of the whole point of Willy Wonka, is that there's just a bunch of stuff that looks like nonsense. It would just be so cool to actually have some of those rooms making something. Like, the one that comes to mind immediately for me is the Chili Willy's room. Because I actually have that room set up as, like, a candy production room. To actually put some movement in there with conveyor belts and stuff would just be awesome. I probably would never do the thing where, like, you know, when people use the crate mod, especially when it's in survival, you know, they make farms, and they make it so, like, they're actually making something. Like, they're harvesting the sugar, milking the cows, generating power. I wouldn't do all that. I would just cheat and use, like, the, you know, the power blocks. I don't think there's a reason for a creative world like this to have to go all out with it. I just want to give the illusion, you know? Alright, so obviously I just put those little conveyor belts in. I think these would look better if they were only a single block wide. In fact, this whole thing would look better because when I go to put these boxes in, they're going to be uncentered on the conveyor belt. I'm thinking how I want to solve that problem. Because what I could do easily for this one is I could just either, like, this doesn't have to be center with the room, really. In fact, I might actually go back and move that so these are a little bit longer. But there's no way for me to make these only one block wide, or like an odd number of blocks wide, because this isn't even spacing. So I take back what I said, how I'm glad that's an even number. I wish it was a single. Because now what I have to do is either... Let me get the box. So if we're pretending this is the box, I either am going to have to only have them on one side, put them on two sides and make them look really large, or stagger them like this. And I would probably end up just doing this where I stagger them back and forth. I mean, that wouldn't really be accurate to how it looks in the movie. Although I do guess it would look rather Willy Wonka-like to have them just, like, nonsensically spaced all out all over here. I'm really kind of constricted with this build with the dimensions of this room. It's not something that I can change, because it's much more important that the outside of this building looks accurate compared to the inside. So I might just have to live with it. Something that I could maybe do is, you never really see the back of these buildings in the movie, so maybe I can put like more of these doors in the back over here, and then I can have them, the conveyor belts, branch out in both ways, and then that would actually give a reason as to why there's boxes on both sides. So I might do that, but then we kind of run into the problem that there's really nowhere for the trucks to go because they have to go out the front gate. And this spot in here is a little bit tight for a truck. But just for the sake of this interior, I might do that anyway, because I'm not really expecting, you know, it doesn't have to make total sense. I mean, like, basically this entire factory is made up of just random shapes put together that don't make sense. So I might do that. Change these to black concrete real quick. Well, actually, I think that's... I want to make sure they're at the right depth. So they're one block in. Okay, yeah. If I hate how this looks, you know, if I end up realizing this is too much of a deal breaker, well, then I can just go back and remove it just as easily as I'm replacing it here, so. Okay. Let's see. This really shouldn't be different. Is there a reason? Okay, no. They're fine. The only difference is... Yeah, okay. I was making sure this wasn't wrong because obviously on this side these supports aren't in here. But that's just because of the way I built the walls. I did them differently each time. I'll go back anyway later and this black wall will get covered up with probably just stone or something. The interior in here is still obviously very unfinished. Alright, so yeah. I think this will look better. Yeah, I think that looks a lot better, it being on both sides. Okay. So, I think the next thing I should do probably is going to be covering up these black walls. I'm going to keep this little divot on the ceiling that goes all the way around, because it adds a little bit of interest, so it's not just a, you know, a box. However, does this have to be in here? No. I'm gonna make it open this up a little bit more. Alright, so that has a 2-block overhang. I do want this to be all symmetrical though. Alright, that one does not. I'm starting to think, yeah, those are completely different. Well, first let me at least do that. And then I think that's, if I add this wall back in. Alright, okay. Although, is there a reason I have? I'm very confused with what I did here. I like made this. For now, let me just get rid of that. That one's already gone. Okay, so this wall just needs to come in by 1. Now they should finally be the same. Yes. Okay. And then I'll add this back in. Alright, much better. And then I'll put some overhead lights, like how they have in the movie. They're just they're like hung by a little pole. So I'll do that for the actual permanent lighting, but for right now, obviously, this is fine. I probably am just going to make the interior of this deep slate, because that's how it looks in the movie. Then it kind of makes a cool little effect like they're going out through a little tunnel, so. The only downside with this, it does make the room even smaller. But it is what it is. I knew this was going to be like a weird little room from the beginning. I'll probably come back and like put some stairs up here so it doesn't look so blocky. Yeah, this room is definitely, it is so narrow. I'm also going to have to think what I want to do for an elevator stop over here. What I might end up doing is just using the, excuse me, the factory gates room. I might end up, actually I kind of like how that looks. I might end up using the factory gates elevator stop as a dual function one, you know, that services both of these areas, because there's just a little space in here that I really can't put an elevator stop anywhere in here. Unless if I maybe did something like, well, I don't want to leave right now because I haven't put the door in yet, but I can talk about it in a little bit where I think I might be able to fit one in. Alright, so I guess it would make sense to do the light now. I'm actually going to pull up the movie on my second screen real quick so I can use it as a reference. Alright, so I have a pretty good view of it. It's just a really simple overhead light. The best block that would fit that is it's more of a white silver color, so the end rod obviously. But I don't like about the end rod is how it always gives off light. I mean, obviously, that's the whole point. Ooh. And because this room is built on an even amount, they are not going to hang over perfectly. Alright, so in the movie, they basically go straight down the center over top of the main conveyor belt, like they're perfectly centered. Obviously, I can't do that because this is a square. So what I'm probably going to do is, what's the gap in between these two? 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this is an odd number, so yeah, right here is the center. I can put like one on each side in the center of these instead. But like I was saying, I would rather, like, I just wish end rod there was a way to make it so it didn't light up. Because I like how this looks better. Like, with the no light, I mean, but the color is awful. And, I mean, that would be more accurate. I'm probably going to end up going with the end rod, even though I'm not really a big fan of the illumination aspect. So, because this is up in the air, I can really do it anywhere over here, but I'm probably going to just end up doing it in these spots. So the easiest way to do this is just to center myself, look up, and place them. So they come down, now they're relatively above the boxes, so we'll do that, and then I forget how these attach to the, like that, and then I would like to be able to put a block, but obviously I can't. A design that I've used across the factory is I like the where you put a block and then you put banners around it, and that would probably make the most sense here, because I really don't like having just, you know, like, well, I don't like how this looks, just having the, like, you know, trapdoors that, well, I thought I knew what I was doing. Maybe they just can't go on light blocks. That's probably what it is. I don't really like the look of having just trapdoors around a light block. So I'm not going to do that anyway. So because the lights in the movie are like, they're a gray color, probably use, see which one I like more. For right now, it can just be a stone. I'll use the light one so it contrasts better. Now what I'll do here is so there's a few things I could do. Like I could use a frog light. Since the end rod already lights up though, I don't really need like the block to light up, and I could always just use the light command block if I wanted to. I might just, you know, use a light gray concrete just so it blends in. Then if I really want to, I can add that. I'll probably just end up doing that. I'm gonna build the next one block up higher though. I think it's hanging down a little bit too much. So this was 3, right? Yeah, it's 3. Try this one at 2. I like the 3 better. So I'm just going to do this the rest of the way down. Banners are one of the best things I ever added to this game, in my opinion. I know it's a simple design, but I really like this light design. I mean, I've used it. This is now the third time throughout the factory that I've used that design. Varying colors. But I just think it's a clean look, and it suits the aesthetic of the movie, I think, pretty well. Wait, what? Okay. I thought that one spawned in, but I wasn't sure. And then we'll do just one more. Since this is perfectly like symmetrical now that these are on both sides, I'm just gonna end up copying and pasting this interior to the other one over there to speed it up. There's really no reason not to. This design also looks pretty nice if you put a shulker box in the middle instead of a solid block or a light block. But because I'm going to be using shulker boxes on the actual conveyor belt, I don't want shulkers up there as well. Alright, then let's get rid of these sea lanterns so I can see. I actually like how it gets darker at the ends. It kind of hides the fact that it's just a dead end. And then, is this right to the outside? Yeah. I would have liked to be able to just put a block in like that. But I do like how it's hidden. So, well, I want to go through here real quick and see. I know it wouldn't be accurate, but it wouldn't be exactly accurate to the movie if I did this. But if I did something like this right here, that kind of tricks your mind a little bit into thinking, oh, okay, so the packages come out from here and then they go in. This is a recreation of the Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory from the 2005 movie, and right now I am building the shipping area that you see in the intro credits. But due to the size constraint of the size of this building, I had to modify it a little bit to a different design, but it's in the same aesthetic of the movie. But yeah, oh, thank you for the kind words. But yeah, I have the whole factory exterior done, and everything that you see in the movie on the inside is complete, and now I'm working on building additional rooms to the factory to fill it out even more. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's been fun to work on. But yeah, this is the part where the boxes drop down and then they get put into the little trucks on the outside that drive away. So that's what this area is. It has a lot of snow because in the movie takes place in February, and there's snow covering all the ground for the whole movie. So it's covered in snow. Alright, so since I did that, I can put this in like I wanted to. I won't be able to do that down here, but that's alright. Well, in fact, there's actually no reason for this conveyor belt to even continue further that way. Because the whole point is that they go into the trucks and there's no truck over here. Alright, so I think now I'm going to start. Did not want to do that. I'm going to start putting the boxes on the conveyor belt. And I could use a chest, but I don't think that would look as good. And then I guess like if I wanted to, like I could use, like I just want it to look like a cardboard box basically, so I think this is probably the best bet. It's just the brown shulker box. Yeah. Alright, so I don't want them all to look, well, I don't really want them all to look the same, so like I don't want each door to have the box in the exact same spot. But in the movie, they actually are like that. They're all perfectly uniform, so I might do that. A light brown. I thought, like, am I just crazy? Or, like, I don't think there is a... I wish there was a lighter brown shulker box. I don't think... Like, or if there was, like, a tan one, that would have been nice, but... So, I run into this problem once again due to the dimensions of this room and the way that the doors on the outside are spaced. This isn't finished out here. This just looks sloppy right now. But because this is an even number across, and I don't really feel like redoing the whole building to make it a odd number so I can have it just a one-wide conveyor, I'm going to have to basically space these out. Like that. Yeah. So I'll do some of them like a little bit different, like I said. And then that one can go there. Well, I don't really like how that looks. And now what I'll probably do is I probably will make them like a uniform zigzag pattern down the center. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap so you can still make it out this little opening though. So I like a 3 gap. I think I want them maybe only a 2 gap instead of a 3 block gap. So it should still look alright if I put that there. Yeah. That looks fine. Yeah, I like that more. Alright, I think that looks... I like how that looks. It looks chaotic enough, but also organized. So what I'm actually going to do on the outside... Yeah, there's the light brown terracotta. Like, I would probably use something like... Probably just a regular terracotta block would be like a good substitute, or wrong thing, like that, or even the orange, something like that. But I'm happy enough with the brown. So I don't really think I plan to build the actual trucks out front. So this is pretty much going to get covered up. It's really just going to be an inside interior. You know, there's not going to be a... The whole point of this black here is that in the movie, when they enter, this is basically like, it's not a curtain, but it's kind of like a rubber, like, doorway cover that the boxes just push their way through. So when there's no boxes going through, it's supposed to look just like really black and like a solid wall. I might eventually maybe put some trucks on this side because there's nothing really over in this courtyard. But in this part, I definitely don't, because in the movie they're not there when they enter the factory. So it's very cramped in here, but something that I like to do, that I don't know if I will, is because there's only 2 blocks. In the other rooms where I have conveyor belts, I like to put a strip of yellow blocks along as like a safety barrier. But obviously, because it's so narrow in here, you know, this looks a little weird. I have in the past also done stuff like where I cover up the bottom a little bit, and I might do that because it still blends in enough, but it adds a tiny bit of detail. Yeah, I'm sure there's I'm sure someone at some point has made a DeLorean, and I'm almost positive there has to be people that have made Star Wars things. Oh, I already did this. Okay. That adds a little bit, and then up here in the darkness, I do want to smooth out this a little bit with some stairs. You're not really meant to be, you know, looking at this area, but it will help. It helps ease it up a little bit. We'll keep that in for now. Just so I can see a little better. I'm gonna keep this in this little ledge. I'm not gonna do stairs up here though, because then it kind of looks it looks too smooth for the industrial style that this build is. But I can get rid of that though. Yeah, so this can just be, I don't really care that this is just dead space over here. Alright, so now, really I just need to find a place that I want to put a door in. And since this is covered behind the wall over here, this would be a good spot for it. Basically right in the center. I would do a piston door if I had the space on the inside, but I don't want it. I don't want this area to be full of redstone. So this will just be a double iron door. And we'll use blackstone pressure plate to blend it in. Now, I think what I actually want is I want them to be flush in like that. Yeah, I like how that looks. I'll extend this platform too. But this will be obviously the intended way to get inside. When I built this wall, this gap is intentional. This is how it looks in the movie, so I don't want to mess with that over here. So this will just be a narrow path. I think it's slightly larger by the door so you don't fall. And then no staircase over here. I know some of the design choices might look a little curious, but rest assured this is how it looks in the movie. So, you know, obviously there's really nowhere to necessarily go in here, but in the movie credits, this room also has no real walkable areas, because in the movie we just get a view of the camera zooming over like this, and there's really nowhere to walk on either side. So this is just kind of a little detail that people can explore whenever the map goes out. Now, what I do need to do is copy that entire interior and paste it inside of this one, so they're both going to be the same. Let's see, the center is right here. So this is obviously completely bare. So the first thing I'm going to do is add the floor in. That'll just make the rest of this a lot easier. And then really, I don't even need to, like, well, I'll fill in some of these gaps if there's any. But other than that, I can just copy and paste this thing. Oh, something I do need to do first though. I need to turn these into black concrete. And then also add this part in, like that. Alright, so I'm going to add a light in just so I can see a little bit better. The easiest way is just to take the entire thing. So we'll take this upper corner And then what I'm going to have to do is I should be okay if I just do this block, but if it messes up, it's because I have to go one block back further. Oh wait, actually no, that would mess it up. I need to get, yeah, I need to do exactly what I just said. I need to get, I need to get, yeah, I think it's that block. And now I will stand right here, copy it, stand in the same spot in this one, paste it, and yeah, that is basically perfect. Just need to add in that black concrete. Everything else looks correct. Doors. Oh wait, that is one thing I messed up. I need to add in this second layer here. And then how did I do this end? I need to go count to make sure that I didn't. I might have pushed this in. It might be one block over too far. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, two, three, four, yeah. Alright, so I need to undo that. Yeah, that's right. I should have been standing here. Paste it. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Yeah, alright. That's better. Door. Wait, why is that pressed in? All right. Yeah, I'm quite happy with how this turned out. Just a quick little build. Fills in some dead space I had over here, and now there's actually a reason to go inside of those things. I am going to put a sign on the outside of the door because I use birch signs everywhere else. Going to continue to do that. So the room, what this room is called, and the official list of all the rooms for the concept art of this movie is called the, I believe it's the, well, I know there's a room called the shipping and boating room. There's no other room really that resembles a name that quite serves the purpose of this. So obviously there's no boating going on here. It's just kind of a play on words because shipping and boating, duh. I'm going to name this a shipping and boating room. So I want to think how I want to space this out. Probably just say shipping and boating room. Well, and it doesn't have the word room, so we'll just do shipping and boating. And then I always do that on my signs. It looks a little funny, but it gets the job done. Like I was talking about earlier, because that's a stop on the elevator, I would like to have an elevator stop over here. There just really isn't room for an elevator stop. You know, if this was right up against this building in the movie, I would be able to just hide it inside of here, but this gap is supposed to be here. Then obviously I can't put it anywhere back here because it would just be awkwardly like extending out the side. And then I just don't have enough space over here to add it. I need like 2, 3, 4. To make my elevator stops, I need at least 7 blocks of width. And if I extended it on the outside of the building, I could fit it probably, but it would ruin the look of the building, so I don't think I'm going to add an elevator stop over here, sadly. But because you can easily access it, if you take this elevator, this is the factory gates elevator stop. If you take that elevator, you can just walk into it, so. Alright, I'm glad I got that finished. That was something that's been on my to-do list for like literal months. So I'm glad that that's done. I'm trying to think if there's any other stuff on the front and sides of the exterior that I want to build. I pretty much have everything done. The only thing that needs finished on the outside still is the entire back of the factory where there's the train station still needs built. So this wall will get demolished. These very flat, boring walls will be replaced with like a, I don't know how to describe it. It kind of looks like this shape here, but it'll run horizontal. And there'll be 2 of them, and then there will be like 20 or 30 train tracks, like a train yard that comes into here. And then this is, you know, it'll be like an industrial like train station. So that'll give me opportunity to like detail these walls and all that. I haven't done that yet because there's been no reason to, because this whole area is going to change so drastically back here. The train station will honestly probably, so going back further, like the size of the outside of the factory is actually deceptively small. It looks, obviously they did this in the movie on purpose, but from the front it looks a lot larger than it actually is. It's really not that big. So me adding in that train station and train yard back here is probably gonna almost like not double, but like add on another half of the factory. So it'll probably go back another like 100 or so blocks. So that'll be cool. But yeah, like this is all finished over here. Like I know some of these walls look really flat and boring, but that's how it looks in the movie, so that's why they look like that. Wherever there was detail, though, I tried my best to like actually detail it. The main example I always cite are these chimneys right here. They have a really like, not intricate, but a really detailed base. So I was able to like recreate that over here instead of the more boring ones where these ones didn't have that at all. So yeah, I don't really think there's much else I want to do on the exterior. feel like... Would this not look better? Nope, that looks better. That actually makes me want to go replace these ones then. So they're all the same. Yeah, kind of blends in a little bit better, I guess, with the lighter tones of the brick, so. Alright. Well, I guess it's time to go inside and I'll see if there's anything else that I want to add. Yesterday's stream focused heavily on the chocolate room. And I guess what I can do is start doing the little like things that I wanted to do. I wanted to get rid of these. And then I want to do sort of similar to over here, where instead of them being in a clump, I want them to be more spread out. So, but I think I want to use smaller ones than the large. Yeah, I'm going to use, I think, the like medium-sized one. So I'm going to replace these large ones with, well, I guess this is called large. And what is that, a medium? Oh, I guess I completely missed over that. You know, the more I look at it, I'd rather use the medium. The large and then the cluster, just, they look a little big. But I do want them spread out better, like I was just talking about. There's no rhyme or reason as really to what these are supposed to represent. I just think they look candy-like, so that's why I have them. And that looks 1,000 times better. So I'm going to kind of continue doing that sparingly across around the chocolate room here. And then there are some other details I want to start adding in, because like I've talked about a few times now over my videos or streams or whatever, every few months I like to come back through the chocolate room and just add another pass of detail. I've done that like 3 times but already since I've completed this room, and it's due for another pass of detail, just so it constantly is improving. Now, one thing that is nice about the 2005 movie, though, is that the chocolate room really is kind of, not empty, but there's a lot of just open grass, where there's not really, you know, a lot of candy in it. Like, you're really just supposed to kind of, like, look at how vast, like, the meadow is. So that's why I'm okay with areas like here where it's really just grass. There's not a whole lot else going on. This is too many. I really want to be careful about how close together these things are. Kind of hide them in like little nooks and crannies. Like that. This is like going to be such an obscure reference that I don't know if anyone would even understand. But the old, like, PS2 era game, SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, one of my favorite games as a kid. It's still one of my favorite games. The shiny objects in that game, like the collectible, they put them in areas that are like really just kind of like little spots, like little crevices of the level that they put them in those areas to like reward you for like exploring and trying to like find them. So to a much lesser degree, I'm kind of doing the same thing here, where it's like, if you take the time to walk over here, I mean, I know these don't mean anything, but it's like, oh, hey, it's a little crystal. Just to make it more detailed, you know? Like, I'll put one, like, right here. Maybe I'll put another one right there. These are one of my favorite things in the movie. They're like chocolate bars or like fudge bars or something that grow out of the ground. And I know it looks really blocky in Minecraft, but I think it like translates surprisingly well. Oh, here's a light I missed when I was replacing all of these. I'm surprised I missed that one. I checked over this area like numerous times, but I wanted to put a thing there. Put another one right there. Maybe hide one right there. And I think it adds just a little pop of color. It's like over here, I need to get rid of some of these. Some of these, there's just too many. Get rid of this one. I like that one. Get rid of this one. We'll have some areas where they're a little bit more abundant. Like this, that's fine. But over here, this is just a little too many. We'll keep two there, that one as well. Get rid of these ones. And let me look at it from the front. Still too many. Get rid of these two. I don't like how these two are on the same level. So what I am going to do is I'm going to get rid of that, put that there, and get rid of that. I think that looks better. This one probably can go as well, yeah. And then this can get like moved to there. No, not there. Well, maybe in its original spot is fine. Don't want any down here. You actually see this part in the movie, and this is pretty much completely bare. Hide one right there. What? Did I have a light block there? Does that get rid of it? Huh, that's weird. Alright, well, I'll just put the light block there. Alright, so that takes care of the crystals. I think that looks better. Maybe just so you're kind of introduced to them a little bit earlier. I think I put one like right there. I'm gonna put another one right there. Just so like when you come into the room, you see one like just peeking over there. And then the more you walk into the room, you can see more of them as you continue walking. Yeah, I think that's much better than how they looked before. Alright, the next thing I want to do has to do with these blocks. I like how the nether wart block looks a lot. It looks like the main problem is in the movie there are places where there's just like, these are supposed to be like pumpkins. They're like candy pumpkins that just are across the room. And the texture on most colored blocks in this game is really boring, but the red netherwort block has a nice texture to it. So I kind of put them around some areas, but I want to put just a few more in. Like that. I don't think I have really many over here. I'll put like a few more. I might do like 3 of them. Like that. Like real simple stuff, but it adds a lot. Put one like, where's that one? Down there. Add one over here. Maybe 2 more there. And you know, you probably wouldn't even notice it right now. Like that probably did nothing, but it just subconsciously adds more detail to it. See, some blocks like, actually, this would be another good one. Now, wherever you see these colored ones, like the orange, pink, and dark green, those are actually placed there on purpose. Like, these are actually here in this exact spot in the movie. Same with those ones. So a lot of the decoration is, like, perfectly placed as best I could based on the movie. But the problem is, that's what I did, like, the first time I decorated this room, is I only put everything where you see it in the movie. But there are so many little things in the movie, like tiny little candies, that you just cannot replicate in Minecraft. It ended up making the rest of the room look completely bare. So now I go back and I add in my own details that are on top of it. Like, in the movie, these things don't exist here. But I put them there to just fill in some space, and then whenever you're riding on the river below, it kind of looks cool that they're hanging over. Or, like, for example, this black tree is in that spot in the movie. But I added in a few more of them around to fill in some more space. So, like, stuff like that. Like, these candles are supposed to represent little candy mushrooms that grow out of the grass. There is, like, a giant patch of them right here at the beginning of the room. So then I went ahead and I added in some more, like, sprinkled through different areas. Like, same thing right here. Like, these pink ones actually are there in the movie. But then I added in some over here. And then a few over here to fill in some space. But yeah, I'm going to add some of this in. And what I might do is, areas that I have 2 or 3 of these, I'll replace them with a few blue ones to add a little bit of variation. So since this area has so much red in it, I think this would be a good spot to put in some blue. Although I'd rather do that, yeah. That one can probably stay. Missed another light. But this is the kind of stuff that I like really enjoy doing. Replace some of these with blue ones. Same thing over here. There's a big cluster of them. And now I think I can just maybe add in some, like, this is kind of a little boring area. Just add a block. Add in, there's kind of a lot of them over there. Put one there. In the movie, these weird looking shapes don't really have anything on top of them. Except for some, like, I don't even know what they would be. They just look like candy sticks growing out of the ground. So, not going to put anything there. Same thing with these, like, circles, the spheres. They have a bunch of these that go around this side of the room. And then there's like, nothing on top of them, really, except a few things. So that's why I'm also not putting anything up there. Add one there. Well, actually, no, because in the movie, there's nothing there. Same thing over here, like this is just kind of open grass. And over here. The areas where the characters walk there's not a lot of stuff on the grass. And I want to put like, I still want to put something in here that involves some type of interactivity. But I'm still like trying to think exactly what I want to do with that. So for now, I'll just kind of fill it with like these things. The nature blocks really do come in handy for this kind of thing. I've thought about using magma blocks before, but oh, of course there was a light there. They just kind of look a little bit too crazy. That looks kind of cool, but too similar to this. I think this looks better. None of the ores really would work. These would maybe work, but then the top would be a little weird. I guess I could put like a carpet on it. They add a little bit of animation too. Maybe in the future I'll go back and add some of those. And yeah, because my chocolate room doesn't use grass, like actual grass blocks, I can't really plant things in the grass unless I put a few grass blocks around, but then it would look weird. It would, you know, that just kind of looks weird. Especially because I'm in a snowy biome, so it looks even more dark. But yeah, those little things, those little changes really do add up. I think like just those things alone have already improved the look. Something else that I want to do in the near future is, well, actually I could just do it now. I just need to pull up my reference image. But my little, I call it like a little shelf that the waterfall goes over, isn't exactly accurate. So I'm gonna real quick pull that up. Alright, so yeah, pretty much it just kind of curves in instead of it being a straight across. Um, it would be beneficial if this was a larger space and it went back a little bit deeper, but I think that's just something, a proportion that won't really translate to Minecraft, because to the best of my ability I tried to make this look like the dimensions exactly like the movie, like the width of the waterfall and the gap between these tower things, and then also how the wall curves back and then it has this cutout in here for the waterfall. The only thing I did not do is that the corners kind of bow out a little bit instead of being a hard block, like a hard angle. But that, I just don't have the space to really like simulate that in Minecraft with blocks. But something that can be easily done up here would be, I can just kind of cut this in a little bit. Now there's not really a ton of shots of the top of the waterfall. So I kind of have to do it just as best I can based off of like really wide angle shots. But essentially, like to the best of my knowledge, I think there's like a little support on each side that comes out like that. But this really does just kind of need to curve in some. So it's pretty simple. Although it doesn't go all that. That's a little bit too far. I need to light this up. I can't see what I'm doing. So I think what I can do... I mean, like this, like stuff like this really doesn't make a lot of a difference, you know? But it's just something minor. Yeah, I mean, there's really not a whole lot that can be done, but I think it helps. Is that how that one is? No. 1, 2, 3. 2, 2, 1. No, well. There we go. I was like, why is that not right? I was looking at it, and to my knowledge, I don't think this like drops down any like like an arch. I really do think it stays just flat across. It probably is. Well, actually, let me get rid of this light. Let me see how it looks from over here. I mean, yeah, it's such a small difference, but it does look better. And especially whenever you're up going across the bridge over here. How would it look better if that was flat? No, it would not. I think it looks better having that depth in there. And yeah, I mean, I think that pretty much nails it. I mean, maybe like a stair there. Does that look weird? Or if I do like that. Just so it's not flat right there. And then if well, I can't do that. I kind of like how that looks. But I also kind of don't at the same time. Yeah, I think I like how it looks more with it. And I don't really anticipate people going up here and like studying that to a high level of scrutiny anyway. But that certainly looks better than the straight edge it had. Yeah. Cool. There's not really any other changes that I want to add right now to the chocolate room, I don't think. I guess I could replace these now. These, like, old light systems. I kind of forgot about these up here. And yeah, this actually is full of chocolate, just like in the movie. But this will actually allow me to do these lights, is to light up this a little bit better, because before I was really restricted with where I could put the sea lanterns. But I've always hated how dark this pipe was, so I'm going to actually light it up a little bit, I think. And then, you know, like, with the colored water mod I use, I can use, like, a illuminated chocolate, you know? But then the pipe is too bright, so there wasn't a happy balance. But now that I have, like, full control, I definitely can, like, accomplish the lighting that I want. It's weird how I only put 2 of them in. I guess it gives a kind of cool shadow, although if anything it should be the opposite because the light is right there. It hardly makes a difference though. But it satisfies my brain to know. Alright, so yeah, like, I'm looking actually at a screenshot of the movie right now. And the underside of it actually is pretty dark. But the pipe has a little bit of light hitting it, so I'm wondering if these ones that I use that are an 8 level of illumination would work. Yeah, I mean, that's just about perfect. Although what I will do once again is, since, you know, the light is right there, I will put it on this side. And then I can actually light this thing finally. It is like consistently brighter down towards here because, you know, the light is shining harder on it. Like up here it is actually kind of dark. So I'm going to play with that a little bit. But again, that could be something that doesn't really translate well to Minecraft because sometimes things just don't. How would it look if I did that? That looks kind of cool. It really does look like the light is only hitting it on one side. I think I like that. Because I might want to light this up a little bit better up here. In the movie that is pretty, like, it does have a pretty heavy shadow, but kind of like how it looked better without these here. Maybe at least maybe instead of starting it on this white thing, it starts it like right there, like in the middle. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I'm gonna keep these shadows underneath here though. Although these little pipes that hang down do have some light hitting them. Yeah, I think that looks cool. It highlights it just enough. In fact, looking at it in the movie, the part up here is definitely lit up, but it's not like quite this bright. So I want to just try doing the more dim lights only on this side. See if that makes it look a little bit more moody. In fact, I'll just replace all of them. Because you're supposed to definitely like have your attention drawn to this, but not a lot. And I just realized I added in an extra. I did this wrong. But I might need to actually put that light back in, because now it looks a little bit too dark. So what if I did here and there? And then, oh well, I guess it would make more sense to do it like that. Wait, what? Are these not the same? Oh no, they're not. This side is messed up. I never noticed that before. Well, I guess this is something that I can fix. I mean, it's a very simple fix, but just one extra block by accident. Alright. I wonder how long it's been like that, if it's been like that ever since I built this thing. Wait, this is still wrong. Yeah, this block shouldn't be here either. Alright, so the top layer looks good. This middle layer looks good. Okay, now I think it's... yeah, now it's fine. Okay, that was weird. I have a hard time believing that it's been like that this entire time since I built this thing, like months ago, because I used World Edit to build this. I just like stood in the middle and spawned in circles around me. Maybe I was like, I don't know, I messed it up somehow. Alright, and I kind of like how it's brighter on the top, like that. Maybe do like add it up here as well. Like so. Alright, so the angle I'm looking at, a picture from the movie, is like, we're up a little bit further. We're in the center here. It's like that. I do like that. The only thing I don't like is this. I don't like how it's shining right here. I might literally... well, that's gonna break it, yeah. Maybe just not have a light there? Because I guess this light is kind of lighting that up enough. I know this is probably super boring to watch, but this is kind of the point of my streams, is to me just streaming while doing miscellaneous things. Okay. I think it needs some light here on the face. How did I just do that? Okay, I did 3 of them. And since there's technically a light there, I should do it the whole way around. The thing that I like so much about this movie's version of the Chocolate Room is that, you know, it's... Wait, no. Yeah. Is that it's, moody. It's not like super bright like the 70s movie. I just think that's cool. Alright. I am liking how this is turning out. It's just... I need to get rid of some of these shadows. Like, I want it to look consistent. And I'm trying to avoid having to do this, but I might have to just cover these up. Because really the shadows are supposed to be down here, not up here. Just because the lighting is dim doesn't mean it has to be like having shadows, you know? Alright, I am pretty happy with that. I'm trying to think if the upper rings need that same treatment. I think maybe just this part does. Like, that might be good enough. Yeah. Those 3 look... Just putting 3 of them there looks fine. Yeah, okay. I think that's like a pretty big improvement. I like that the tube is now mostly lit up, instead of it having just a giant shadow here for no reason. And then, what do I have under this water? I must have a lights of some kind under this water here, because the reason I put lights down here, I think, is because it was so dark, to try to at least light up some of this thing. Although it's not looking like that. Okay, there's one there. If I cover that up, is that gonna make it look... I think that's a little bit better, because it was a little weird how the bottom of the pipe was significantly brighter than the other parts. It's okay if it's a little bit more lit at the bottom. It's like that in the movie too, but I think that helped a little bit. yeah, pretty happy with how that turned out. Alright, I don't really know exactly if I have anything else like that that I wanted to fix along the way. Oh, there is one very small thing in the Chocolate River that I need to do. I just keep forgetting about. It's like all the way at the end into the new area that I just built the last few days. And then once I do this, that'll probably pretty much be it for the stream. And I was talking earlier, like right at the beginning, depending on what I feel like doing later, if I have some time to kill tonight, I might do a stream later tonight as well. But if not, I'll probably do one tomorrow or Friday. Okay, I need to go out here. This part right here, I keep forgetting I need to put a black wall in. Because you're never going to be over here because it's blocked off. The part you actually go through is on the other side of this glass. And this is just to make the river look bigger. And the top, side, and bottom is supposed to be covered with a black wall so you don't just see this out here. And the top and side have it, but I keep forgetting to do the bottom here. Which is a problem because you could actually see this if you got at the right angle over there and look through the window. So it needs to be covered. Perfect. I don't really need this thing over here anymore either. Get rid of this real quick. And now that's gone. Good. Cleans up some space. And now, if we go through here and look through these windows, you know, you're not really intended to like stop and just kind of look. I mean, you can. There's no hurt in it, but since there's no rooms in this part of the river, you're meant to just kind of go on through down here. So like if you look off through your peripheral vision, now there's a black wall that covers it up down here. So you don't just see the end of the river. What I might actually do is, since, not today, but since I have the space to do it, just to sell the illusion even more, I might just continue the river a little bit more out this way, like over until here, so it's physically impossible to see this black wall. But for the time being, that is more than good enough. Like I said, the room that I worked on the past few streams has been the drink fizzery room. We still have these two to build, and then that will be it for the Chocolate River. It will finally be done, at least for the rooms. There's a few other details I need to add in a few spots. But these two rooms are the last ones I need built for the Chocolate River. And then I can finally start working on like another section of the factory that will have more rooms in it. Because up until now, I've only really built these additional rooms in either the Chocolate River, or I have a hallway, like a really long corridor that has some other rooms in it. So I'm looking forward to being able to start a new section soon. But I need to get these two done first, which will take a while. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this live stream. Like I have said a few times, I might do another one later tonight, just depending if I don't have anything else going on. If I don't end up doing one tonight, I will probably do another one tomorrow afternoon or Friday afternoon. I do want to do a few more streams before the end of the week. the end of the weekend, I should say, because starting next Monday on, I won't be able to make any videos or play Minecraft at all or do any live stream, like any of that. Probably for at least 2 weeks. So it'll probably be a 2 to 3 week break before I'm able to do any work on the factory. So yeah, I want to do a few more live streams before this week is over. Just because I'm going to have to take a long break. So yeah, I appreciate anyone who stuck through watching until the end. And I'll see you guys later in the next live stream. Appreciate you watching. Take care.